Hey guys, this is Shaun, and I just made a quick day trade yesterday, which made me $700 in under 5 minutes. And nothing special about this trade on itself. It was just another regular all day trade. But I thought this video could serve as an opportunity for me to show you this trade live. So we'll be going through this trade or trade recording in just a second. But also, I wanted to talk to you guys about how do you prepare for that day, how do you select stocks, and how do you plan your trade, and of course how do you execute and stick to your plan for execution of those trades. So hopefully this video is going to give you a lot more clarity about day trading and preparing for that day in order to have a successful trading session. So hopefully this video helps you with that. And before we get into the screens, if you're new to the channel, my name is Shaun and I'm an equities trader, and I've been trading the markets for about 8 years. And so yeah, that's just about me, and I make trading content. So if you are into that sort of stuff, consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, let's get onto the screens. So just before I started with this trading session or any other trading session, I overlook at the major indexes. So that would be SPY for me, and we were actually making some really big moves to the upside. It was a much bullish day for me. So this is actually today. So the trade was made yesterday, right? So this is what we're actually looking for. So when I was just preparing for the day, I was just looking at where the market is being gapped up. And mind you, so this trade I was preparing before the market even opened. So it was still pre-market action. That's what I was actually looking at. The prior day, market had made a decent move to the upside, and we held this support area, which was showing me signs that for the short term we could move higher if fundamentally nothing really changes. And this particular day, it was markets were actually looking like they're going to gap up and continue to move higher. And that's what it actually happened. We just kept on moving higher for the day. So just because of the overall market direction, I was sort of forming a bias. And a bias is important, but not like a certain direction that I'd be taking a trade. And the reason I want to do that is 80% of the stocks move the overall move in the same direction as the overall market. So if the overall market is moving to the upside or downside, I want to be in the, or at least I want to try to be in the same directions, because the overall wind of the market is going to work in my favor. So because the market was gapping up yesterday and later on we got sold off, but in the morning at least, that's what was happening. And same thing, I would look at the Qs. It was very similar sort of action, moving to the upside, and we were gapping up. So, okay, I just get a general idea of what's really happening. Most likely it's going to be a green day, or a day where we move up. So my bias is towards to the upside. And these are some of the scanners that I use just to find stocks really quickly. And of course, it's still pretty early in the day and my preparation sort of time has not started. I would generally start at about 5:30 p.m. my time or 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So these were the three names that I found yesterday after my stock selection. And the reason being, they had relatively high volume in the pre-market. They were moving pretty well. And they also had a decent catalyst that I could understand. It's very important, like, there are lots of times there are catalysts where a company is being bought up by somebody, or somebody invested, and these are generally not some stories that I'm very familiar with. And I just or even meme stocks where they're just really flying and making big moves, but I don't fully grasp the news or catalyst of that. So I find myself not to be very confident with those trades, and because I don't have the understanding of the catalyst, if that makes sense. So if I'm not confident, I'm not going to be able to manage that trade confidently. So I just leave anything that doesn't completely make sense to me. And so I'll actually just change the chart so we can see this whole thing a little bit bigger. So it's so these are the three trading opportunities that I was actually looking at. And I've traded KTOS, CRNC, but this is something I did not trade yesterday, and I'll tell you why and what. But let's start with CRNC. This is the trade that we'll be going through. So this was a follow-through trade. So meaning they had partnered with NVIDIA recently. So that was the story. And this day I did not trade. I actually traded this day. So the right of the back, because of the catalyst, and I'm looking at the second day. Now, either I would look for it to sort of go sideways for a few days and then move higher. So that's a typical follow through day. But on this day, it had a lot of really high volume right off the back. As a second day, I just identified few key areas on the chart, and this is the daily chart. So key levels for me were 21, 24, 67. A minor level over here, that's the reason I've put it in yellow, and 28. And given the nature of the catalyst that this company has partnered, they're already a leader in automotive Siri sort of system, like voice technology, something like Siri but for cars. So they're already an automotive leader, and recently they partnered with Nvidia, which is a baby stock or favorite stock of everybody on the street. So this made it a really good catalyst that they're partnering with AI, Nvidia. And initially the plan was based on the catalyst. This was a level two stock for me. So I immediately, it was right around here somewhere, right at the open. So my plan was I wanted to wait for it to either come down to 21 and show me, because there are only two things that can happen for a stock. It could either go up or go down, right? So I'm waiting for it to either come take support at 21 where I can get long, or if it doesn't take support right at the open, it just breaks higher above 2467. I want to trade it as a breakout to the upside, basically the if-then scenario. So that was the whole plan for me for this day. And because of the nature of the catalyst, I wanted to target 27 as a level 2 sort of trade. So very similar sort of planning process for all of these trades, right? And I wanted to keep this one as an example as well, SEDG. And I forgot the catalyst what it was yesterday. I'll have to look at my notes yesterday. But it was pretty much the same thing. It was just hovering somewhere in the middle in a very similar plan. Either it comes down, takes support on 1660 so I can go long, or it breaks above 1933s and then I want to look for some setup and go long for it. And if we go to the 30-minute chart, this is what happened. It just kept on saying for most of the day, right? It did get sold off and came on to the support much later in the day. But before that, it was just somewhere in the middle, and I didn't take any trades. I was just waiting on the sidelines, waiting for it to do something. So it's good for you to give yourself these if-then sort of situations, which keep you out of the trade when the situations are not right, and instantly give you the right opportunities to get into the trade when your plan is being met. So my plans are very simple. Be with the overall market. Look for a stock that has a lot of volume in the pre-market, meaning a lot of people are already paying attention to that stock, and also a catalyst that you understand and sort of have an idea of what that story is, so you can be confident when you're committing your capital to it. And after that, it's just basic technical analysis that I trade. And this is the trade I took yesterday, which instead of it coming down to support, it did not do that right at the open. It didn't really come to the support 21, and it went right away. So that was the trade for me to go long on it. So I'll just play the quick recording. And so this is a charting platform called TC2000. They're very good when it comes to charts and having your watch list set up and alerts and things like that. But when it comes to executions, I use Interactive Brokers as my broker, and I've connected it to DAS Trader, which is a really good executions platform, and it really allows you to be very fast and quick with your executions. So this, what you see over here, is the execution platform of DAS. And the stock that we'll be going through is the one on the top, CRNC. So I'll just play this. This is still pre-market because you can see this being gray over here. Market is about to open in another 12 minutes given the time. Forward it for a bit during the time of the executions. So remember where we were speaking, like it's either going to come down to 21 and have some support, and then I can take a look for a trading setup to enter the trade, or it could either break higher 24. Pretty if-then sort of situations, but anywhere in between, I'm just kind of on the sidelines. And right now, I'm also waiting for the market to open. So let's just forward it just a little bit. So market is just about to open in just a minute. I'm still watching this price action. Market's just open. So the very first move, is called the opening drive. So this is a very important move. So if your idea is to go long, I'll just pause for a second. If your idea is to go long and the very first move the market is to the upside, that should give you a lot of confidence that there are a lot of buyers in the market who are just willing to put in order aggressively and be in the same directions as you are. So that gives you sort of one more check in your favor, and the overall market and the catalyst, these are all checks in your favor, and you want to have as many checks in your favor to make a good trade. So right now I'm just still waiting for those my situations to sort of meet support and resistance. Either it comes down to 21, gets support, or breaks above 24 and keeps on moving to the upside. In that case, I'll just go long way here. So it just continues to move higher, and I'm still just watching it. I'm watching the tape and I'm watching the chart. And this is a 1 minute chart, this is a 5 minute, and this is a daily chart. So let's see, it looks like it's gonna break 24.79, and I want to just see what it does after that. So we are about to break 24.79. And right now I'm looking for a setup which is, it comes down to VWAP. So VWAP is a trader indicator that I use, and the only reason I use this indicator is because most institutions like to use this as a benchmark for their own trading and entering, and a lot of institutions even get bonuses when it comes to VWAP, on how closely they're executing to VWAP. So I'll just rewind it right over here for a bit. So I wanted to see that it comes to VWAP, tested, rejects it, and I'm also paying attention to the tape at the same time. These are all the orders that are coming in, but also the orders that are being filled. So with the tape action, with the VWAP, my setup is being met, plus my conditions of the resistance being broken, and we're confidently moving higher, meets a lot of the checks, and basically the VWAP is being supported. So that is the setup that I like to trade. And instantly I've calculated the position size based on my risk. So my risk is right under here, 24.40s, and about 50 cents per share sort of a risk. So I've calculated the position size that I want to risk, and just put about like 150, 160, maybe 170 tops, given the slippage or something that can happen. So that's sort of a risk, and I've just bought in 350 shares over here. And we're just targeting the very next level. And then there is a minor level in between, which will come in a second, right as we watch the chart. So also the early morning times are really quick, so you have to sort of focus a lot more on the tape and 1 minute. And if you don't want to execute things so fast, or if you're not that fast yet, maybe just focus a little bit later, trading a little bit later time on the market. And that's where 5 minute charts sort of becomes a lot more usable, and 15-minute charts, and because markets just tend to move a little bit slower. So right now, just long 350, and I just put a physical hard stop loss, and I just like to do that in case if I don't execute the trade. I just like to have a stop loss in place. So stop loss order for 350 shares. If it keeps, when it comes down, it's just going to stop me out. That's it. And I got filled around 24.90s and 24.37, so around 50 cents of risk per share. We're just continuing to move higher, and we're approaching this minor level that we were talking about earlier in the during the preparation phase, so which we identified. So it's about 26.30s area, so 26.36. And just because it's a minor level, I just want to sell about 20% of my position, just pay myself, take some profits. So out of 350, I just sold 20% of those positions, which is 105 shares over here. Just placed an order, not my final target, but just because of in case this minor level starts reacting and a lot of sellers start coming in, I just want to be able to sell it and get out of the position, at least pay myself a little bit something, right? Just get filled on my 20% of shares. which in this trade itself was about 1 is to 3. So if I get filled on 24.90s and I sold some position at 26.36, so that's on its own, it's a 1 is to 3 risk reward ratio. So, and because now I don't have 350 shares, I've just canceled my stop loss order and I'm just gonna place a new stop loss order maybe based on the current share size. And I want to find a way to set up hotkeys, and I just haven't figured out the time to write the code to figure out a nice hotkey for this sort of thing that I can move a little bit quicker rather than manually putting the stop loss. But I will get to it eventually. It's one of those things that I'm procrastinating on. And we're very quickly just approaching our targets. One minute candle, so 3 minutes basically, 4 minutes maybe. We're just around there, 27.66. We're very close to the target. I just want to see if we. So this was a really good moment because my targets were 27.66, and I also wanted to pay attention to 27.50 because it's a round number. So prices tend to react a lot more strongly when it comes to round numbers. So I want to pay attention to it. But right now we haven't even reached to 27.50, so I'm just watching. But before that, we just immediately just got sold off, and this was an immediate sell-off. And you can just see, if you go back, if you just pay attention to the bids and the offers, how quickly we just came down. So that was a bit concerning, and immediately 28, 25s, 32s, right up, and immediately from almost at 40s to back to 27. So that was about 30-40 cents of a drop. So that's an instant drop that is telling you that there are a lot of sellers in the market and they are just looking to get out. So that was concerning, and I didn't want to wait for another 30-40 cents for be stubborn with the targets, because see, risk reward is one thing, but risk and reward evolves with the trade as it goes. So now I'm not just risking my stop loss all the way here, but I'm risking this entire P&L, right? Which obviously is going to makes no sense that just to add another $50-$60 on my P&L, I'm going to risk away all the 600-700 P&L that I've already unrealized P&L, of course, but I'm not going to risk. So that is something you have to constantly keep sort of evaluating the situation, because risk and reward is dynamic. It's not static, right? So things are always changing. And right, this action just made me think twice that I didn't want to be more patient with 27.50s or 27. So I just got filled at 27.25, got out, done with the trade. So roughly made about $700 on this trade. So I think we went through a lot of nuances on this trade. So I hopefully it made a lot of sense for you. That the very first stage is looking at the market, because if the overall market's direction is in your favor, that's just one more check in your favor, and you're constantly just planning your trade. And right on this trade, even we just had these levels planned out, and the very simple, very if then sort of situation. If this happens, that's what I'm going to do next. If that happens, that's what I need to do next. And everything had been planned before the markets even open, where you have a clear head, where you don't have a lot of money on your online, so you can think more clearly. And when it comes to live trading, you just execute your plan without thinking twice. It's just, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is what I've planned, and that's it. Just have a clear head, just execute it. But yeah, that was it for this video. I hope it gave you a lot of new things to think about or ways to plan your trade, and hopefully this video was valuable to you. If you did enjoy this video or found this video useful, consider hitting a like button and subscribe to the channel to see more of these related videos like this one. And if you're someone who's looking to learn how to trade, there's a link in the description below. You can get in touch, and then we can talk about a live one-to-one sort of training or coaching about trading. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you found this valuable, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Cheers.